So, welcome to this webinar. Today, we're going to talk about the practical guide to experience management. First, a little bit on Happy Signals. So, we're the leading IT experience management platform. I'm Pasi Nikkanen, one of the co-founders. But let's get started. So, today, the agenda is going to be why experience management, what is it, what can you achieve with experience management, and how to get started. And I think the very first topic is when was the last time you heard, thanks to IT, I was able to? I think we tend to hear more because of IT, I wasn't able to. And this is the perception that we get when we are not doing experience management. So, and it also might be because many times actually agreements give the focus to IT. What do I mean by agreements giving the focus to IT? So agreements many times focus on the output. So in service management, you all know the watermelon effect already. So the SLAs might be green, but still there is something red. So the experience that people are having is how they feel. And on the other hand, on project deliveries, you might have the budget and the schedule. So if the project is delivered on time, on budget, it's kind of deemed as a success. But what really was the outcome of the project? And this is very useful, for example, in digital transformation thinking. Why is it that digital transformation usually fails? So is it the case of a little bit of a broken telephone? So you have your end users, they tell how much time they are wasting. So I have this problem A, I'm wasting all this time, and they are complaining to their, let's say, closest manager and colleagues. And this information kind of gets distorted before it actually ends up to the hands of the IT teams. I'm pretty sure the IT teams, they want to do a good job, they want to create very employee-centric services, but if the message that they get is not the real problem that the end users are facing, so how are they able to react to that one? So they might say that, okay, we see from the monitoring that the laptops are okay. We know we solved this problem B. We got this new idea C. And I think now everything should be fine. We got all this delivered on time, on budget, and SLAs seem to be green. But then, the end user is saying that actually now this solution made it even worse. I had this problem A, and I'm actually trying to use my mobile device. So now I'm just wasting even more time. And really, people do want to tell this stuff. So sometimes I hear that, people don't want to, they got just complain. I even heard one vendor saying that, the people that answer on the surveys are the people that I would never sit next to in a bus. Well, that's like very strange thinking. Employees are there to do their job. They are not there to just complain about stuff. They don't really care about IT. They just want to get their work done. So how can we make them say, thanks to IT, I was able to? So I think we need to start thinking that the whole end user experience should be the outcome of IT. So all the things that you work in IT, the computers, the mobiles, remote working, collaboration, how they collaborate with IT, enterprise application, and of course the support services. All these are creating the IT experiences for end users. So what then really is experience management? I think if we start from the metrics, what do we see as the metrics for IT? So first one, you're talking about people. You need to understand how they feel. And this is really feel. If you measure the computers, the networks, the laptops, they don't feel anything. You might get some numbers and then you try to interpret, was it good or bad? But actually, humans are, I think, the best sensors. And this is something that my friend Tommy Teikko from Empathic Building said, that human is the best sensor there is. If something is not quite right, we are very good at sensing that, even better than all your monitoring tools combined. So it's not all about feelings, of course. What we try to achieve with IT, to be proactive and actually bring value to the business, is to make those end users productive. So how much time did I waste? Because on some services, they are not really business critical. It doesn't matter if the experience is not that good. But on the certain very critical services that really contribute to the employee's work, those you have to really concentrate on. Then how do you get about, actually managing these experiences? So this is really our ethos. So what do we call our experience management wheel? So first thing, you need to measure. And employees are very willing to give their opinion if you ask in the right time, the right way. If you try to spam them or ask them once a year with the very long surveys, of course they are going to not respond and you get pure response rates. You don't really get any data, so you cannot trust on it. So really combining also this experience data with your operational data is very important. And from that, you really start to get meaningful insights. The next thing in our wheel is sharing. And from employees' point of view, it could be more like, if I feel you're not using my input, then why should I share it with you? So giving back, closing the feedback loop. So this old-fashioned you said, we did mentality is really important when communicating back to your end users. What are you doing to try to address the issues? But not just back to the employees. You need to share the data with the whole IT. Otherwise, if the data is only in the hands of few people, they are not really able to make any use of it. It just stays somewhere in an Excel or in a weekly meeting. And doing this transparently really creates trust. So you start to trust each other in the IT organization. You trust that all your teams are focusing on the right things. But you also start to trust your partners and your vendors. When you share this data with them, they're actually able to provide you and suggest you solutions that will ultimately create better experiences for your end users. And that really leads to this identifying part. So the employees are now telling what affects their productivity and asking then maybe, why don't you fix that first? So really getting this real-time experience view to your end users, you can start to make data-driven decisions. And you can really start to focus on the things that matter the most to the end users. So nowadays with all this Agile and DevOps and Scrum and all lean approaches, there's so many things that we try to tackle all the time. And having a little bit of focus of what to do first really starts to make a difference on the way that you work in IT. And from this, you can also start to set experience target levels. So setting targets for your teams where they should try to achieve to bring the experience of the end users. And really then what this leads to is people saying, thanks to IT, I was able to. But also in IT teams, you can start to celebrate the success. You can prove the value to business. And you can also give purpose to the IT teams. And actually our customers who are using experience management, they are hearing this. Because 75% of the feedback that IT receives is positive. And this is based on our happiness score benchmark, where we have over 3 million responses currently. And what does it really mean? What is thanks to IT I was able to look like? And I think this is the concrete thing. How does it look like? Our customers are able to see these kind of graphs that actually show that we are hitting the targets, we are improving things. And this communication, for example, in IT management team towards the business is priceless. How else can you prove that IT, needs more budget, needs more money, isn't just a cost pool? So let's look at a few of these cases. So for example, Alstom-Munksjö, 112% increase in happiness. And they were starting a merger and they were having a yearly survey. And the yearly survey was giving them some idea of what might be wrong. They started to use happy signals, experience management in continuous way, and saw that showed them the exact same numbers, the exact same situation. So proving that you can do it all the time continuously. And they actually started to use that one. They implemented XLAs, experience level agreements, and as you can see from the graph, made huge improvements. And they were like not a thing that they didn't do. So they were able to find all these small things that actually contributed to this big change. Then we have RB. And RB's approach was that they had a really issue with the reputation of IT in the management team on the C-level. And after taking Happy Signals into use, they were able to prove to the other C-level members that IT actually is doing a good job. And I remember that our champion actually got, in the Christmas, a handwritten letter from the CIO thanking for him to take Happy Signals into use. So I don't think there's anybody who has got fired of bringing Happy Signals into the organization. Wilhelmsen, they were doing outsourcing, so outsourcing their local service desk to one global player, having this tool together with everybody, again, making all these small changes, they're able to make huge improvements in the happiness. And recently, before all the pandemic things, I visited Campari in Milan and talked with their CIO, and they said that starting this whole digital transformation journey, basically from the scratch, they first implemented experience management so that they understand what the experiences are today, so that they can really provide services like their Camparistas would be the consumers of IT. And, the results were very bad at first, but that's the thing. Measuring the experiences isn't starting from a high level. It's understanding where are you today, and then when you start implementing those changes, you can celebrate and you can see the improvements and the success that you're making. And now we're talking about happiness, and earlier we talked about productivity. So actually, the outcome of experience management is really productivity improvement. Our customers have seen 26% on average, 26% improvement in productivity from the first 2 months they started to use Happy Signals and the last 2 months that we have seen now. And really, industry doesn't matter. It's all about IT. So IT is internal IT. You use methods like service management, ITIL. You have all your project management ways. So it's always run the same way, no matter what your industry is. So really, we don't really feel like sharing any industry-specific numbers, because we say that IT is more about the culture and the country where you're running your organizations. And just to celebrate even more, during COVID, we saw that our customers using experience management had made a 6% increase in the happiness in IT incidents, just because of acting quickly, getting to this strange situation where you kind of need to throw your processes away and actually just focus on how people experience and feel at work every day. So then, how to get started? So I thought that I'll let Campari's CIO tell it on behalf of me. So I want to show you a short clip on what he says. What is the biggest challenge? What about the challenges? So starting something like that you haven't really thought about before, you haven't measured before. So what challenge did you face with the employee experience? Rolling it out to the organization or with culture?
I think the biggest challenge that we have faced and we are still facing is culture. How do we move the mindset of people from focusing purely on SLAs and KPIs to what's really important, which is actually how do our customers feel? And how are they measuring our service? How do they experience our service? And it takes time. It takes time to get that change embedded in the everyday way of working. And not just internally, also with our providers as well. There's not many providers as well and partners that also have this consumer experience mindset.
True. So as you heard, it's really about the culture. How do you change the culture? And the good news is that it's a common challenge for our customers who start with us. So we have a model of how we see it. So basically you need to start from this continuous measurement. Just have to have the experience data. Without that, there's really not much you can do on this experience management area naturally. So start to have that continuously and combine that and connect that with your operational data. Then you need to start sharing it transparently with everybody. That really starts to say that, hey, this is what we care about. It's the first step towards the culture that we are talking about. So really understanding who can see the data, making sure that everybody can have access to it, not thinking that, all right, we need to hide this to say that, the numbers are not good or something like that. That's not really the case. Just show it to everybody. You will have clever guys in your IT department who will know what to do and how to solve those issues that you see from the data. Then the third thing is when you have all this transparency and continuous measurement done, you can start to set experience targets. So really main targets for teams and really link to outcome, not output. And that really then leads you to this culture, so the experience culture. And it's a quote from a book that I want to share with you. So we see happiness as a strategic driver for success, productivity, and creative output, but also as a strategic objective and in and of itself. So really, I think we also know that happiness sometimes is a little bit strange topic to talk about. But really, when you start to think about it, it really is some strategic objective to drive internally in your organization. And not just for the organization, this really gives also purpose for the IT employees. So think about it that the feeling is that I come to work to enable our employees to do their jobs with more smiles and less time wasted. If that's really the core value that your IT is having, I don't know what's more motivating. Like even now when everybody's remote working, when you wake up in the morning, you do your morning coffee, you go and sit to your kitchen table, you open your laptop. Okay, how can I make our employees happier? How can I make them more productive today? And I think the last message is that it really is about going from agreements to ways of working. So really the main benefits are focus on the outcome to gain trust from the business, more motivating targets for all in IT, and transparency and cooperation are the keys to success. And these are possible when experience is a common target. So having it in a big screen, in the remote offices, in the real offices, and communicating that regularly towards the employees themselves. Like, where are we today? What did you say? What are we doing about it? All right, thank you. And to learn more, you can always subscribe to our IT Experience podcast. You can find it on all the podcasting platforms and in YouTube. Also, go to our website and read the practical guide to XLAs. Thank you. It was my pleasure. Stay safe and stay happy.